Hi, I'm Jeff Greeley. I'd like to talk about the principles of carpet cleaning and soiling. I'd like to use this model as an example. If we look at an actual piece of carpet, you will see that we can see and identify each individual yarn bundle that's attached to the backing of this piece of carpet, which I have here. This model that I've created is a representation of the carpet, only in a much larger form. So these each represent one of the carpet yarns attached to the backing, with the secondary backing and this area here which would represent the latex adhesive in between. You'll notice that this large model of the carpet is dirty just at about 1/3 down each of the individual yarns. This represents what happens in the real world when carpet is walked on and becomes dirty. As we walk on the carpet, our foot is actually touching the top of the carpet up here. And if you imagine if this were an actual carpet, all these yarns are packed very close together. They're each supporting each other so they don't fall over, they just crush down a little bit as we step on them. And of course, we're carrying in dirt and grease and oil on our shoes. We step on this part of the carpet and that dirt and that grease and oil becomes attached to this part of the carpet yarn. It doesn't work its way down, it stays near the surface. Now the dry dirt that isn't sticky or waxy or oily or greasy, that usually falls down in between the yarns and eventually ends up at the base. That dirt we remove by extractor vacuuming or power vacuuming with a host liberator or a host freestyle to remove the deep down dry dirt, which ends up down here. But then it's this soil up here near the top third that is the oily, greasy dirt, the type of soil that requires cleaning chemistry in order to remove it. So what happens when we try to remove this with traditional methods that employ a lot of water and detergents to try to dissolve this soiling and then eventually remove it? Well, the water and detergents are typically applied under pressure using a hot water extraction machine, which sprays the water onto the carpet surface at a pretty high pressure, sometimes 150 psi, can be 200 psi, and it can go up higher than that depending on the machine. Oftentimes some sort of pre-spray will be applied to the carpet, and then the hot water extraction machine will be used to rinse and remove the soil. But what happens when we do that on a carpeting, which is actually a type of plastic? For example, nylon or polypropylene or polyester, those are all types of plastic. They don't absorb very much, very little actually. So the soil is on the outer surface of the yarn, and it's also in this vertical condition. You see, we've got the depth or thickness of the carpet pile represented here. So as we apply liquid under pressure, the liquid with the detergents is going to do its job, which is to dissolve the soiling. But we can quickly lose control. I've got a little bit of detergent in this spray bottle just to demonstrate what can happen when we apply this under pressure to the surface of the yarn. As we apply it, you can see that it's certainly dissolving the soil that's there. But what is also happening is the soil that's being dissolved is actually running down the side of the yarn. Now, if this was an actual hot water extraction machine, that would happen much more quickly, as the pressure from the water and the detergent that's being applied would actually just be blasted down the side of the yarn. Now, at this point, this certainly appears clean. Well, it is clean, because the dirt has been removed from here, but where did it go? It actually went down to the back, perhaps even through the backing, and has disappeared. And we actually know that that happens in the real world because people have often experienced a situation where they clean a carpet on Monday, and everything looks good. And they come back on Tuesday when the carpet is dry and spots have reappeared and some of the traffic patterns look just as bad as they did before the cleaning started. That's because as the carpet dried, the liquid that was forced down to the backing slowly was drawn up the sides of the carpet yarn through the evaporation process, drawing the liquid up the side of the yarn and anything that was in that liquid, the detergent, the soil that was dissolved, the spot that was dissolved, coming back up the yarn, so that eventually what we have is resoiling right at the tips of the yarn again, and it appears as though the spot has come back. So how do we solve this problem of cleaning a vertical surface without losing control? Well, with the hose system, what we've done is we've put the liquid part of the cleaning ingredients into a small package, or as we like to call it, a little sponge. And this little sponge I'm going to represent with these little sponges that I have here. And you all know how a sponge works. If it's dry, it doesn't clean anything. If it's soaking wet, it just tends to smear things around. But we put just the right amount of moisture into each of the little sponges that are in Host. We put water in there, which often surprises people that there's water in a product that's called a dry carpet cleaning system. But the word dry refers to the end result, not to the process. During the process, we have water in the sponge, we have some detergents, we have some other green cleaning chemistry, and it's all controlled in this sponge. So when we apply that to the carpet, after we have done the power vacuuming of the carpet, the liquid is controlled in the sponge. You'll see it's not running away from us. It's actually waiting for us to put it to work. And how do we put it to work? With the brushing action of the Host machine. The Host machine has two counter-revolving brushes that work this way. They're going towards each other, and by doing that, what they actually do is they pick up these sponges, carry them down and into the carpet and back up, and down and back up. And by doing that, here's what happens. Just like I'm holding one in my hand here, the brushing action causes the sponge to be drawn up the side of the yarn, and you'll see what happened. The soil was dissolved there, and where did it go? It went into the sponge. We didn't lose it into the base of the carpet. It's immediately dissolved and then absorbed by the little sponge. And as we continue to recirculate the sponges with the brushing action of the machine, you continually, we'll try it again, continually remove the soil that's there. It's trapped in the sponge, it's held there until once you've finished your brushing action, not only brushing in a north-south direction, but also in an east-west direction, so that we get all around and in between all of the individual carpet yarns. When we're done with all of that brushing and we see that the sponges have changed color like this, all we need to do is turn on the vacuum of the extractor vac machine, the Liberator or the Freestyle, vacuuming or extracting these sponges, which take the dirt with them and get them out of the carpet. So now there's no soil on the surface of the yarn. We have not left any detergent residue in the carpet. We've not lost anything to the base of the carpet. And we actually have a carpet that is dry, clean, and ready to be walked upon again. And because there is no actual residue left on the surface of the yarn, the carpet stays cleaner longer because there isn't any detergent residue there to attract dirt more quickly than it would if it wasn't there. So that's how the Host system works. That's how we control soiling, control cleaning, and control liquids on carpeting, which is a vertical surface, in order to clean it effectively and leave it clean, dry, and ready to use.